a wise guy.
On 10. I'm the 1 + 9, multiply, you get a dime. You know I ain't got your time on 10.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to Smack Talk. Today, we've got a special guest. He's not only a massage therapist, a holistic health specialist, but also owner of You Perform Better and one of a longtime friend and a beautiful human being. Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Moratto. Welcome, man. Welcome.
Thank you, John.
So let's jump into it. Look, I'm going to be honest. I don't really know much about the holistic health space, let's say, or some of the topics that we're going to dive into today. But that's why Steve's here, right?
Yes.
So we're going to break it down, starting with the basics, just letting Steve guide us through everything. And I think that's going to be a good plan for today. So Steve, quick question. How did your journey start? How did this spiritual journey begin?
Yeah. So basically, I got into the field in 2004 as a professional.
Yep.
Basically, I started off as a personal trainer. I studied underneath Paul Chek, who back in the day had the top courses to offer in the industry, right? So he was actually teaching about chakras and exercises for the chakras back then, and using, basically looking at the posture and seeing how the joints were aligned and stuff for better biomechanics and stuff. So it was a very interesting program that I followed with him, and basically what happened was, as I started to train individuals, I realized more and more that every single person that was coming in to see me had some sort of pain issue or an old injury that was preventing them from being able to move properly, and also to help them, reach their goals, right? Which could be weight loss or athletic performance, or, even work performance. If you have a UPS driver that's always on and off the truck lifting heavy boxes and stuff, you have to be able to move your body properly in order to do so, right? So what I realized was that, I needed to take some other courses now in order to be able to work hands-on with people to help with those different pain areas. And as that went on, then I realized also, everybody wants to lose body fat and feel better, more energy, sleep better, all that sort of stuff, right? So you have to get into nutrition and supplementation, so functional nutrition, right? And then also looking at later on, what happened was I ended up having this, I guess we'll get into it, but I had an out-of-body experience. And that happened with one of my clients, actually. She was a music therapist down at Sunnybrook Hospital in Toronto. Okay. And so she was looking for 10 individuals to help with her case studies. She was taking a course called Guided Imagery Through Music. And so it was very interesting. So I said, well, I'll volunteer. What do I have to do, right? She said, well, we're just basically going to go to your place, get set up. I'll get you into a meditative type state, and I'm just going to turn the music on, and you just need to relay back as to what you're experiencing. What are you seeing, what are you feeling, what's kind of going through your body at that time, right? So I said, okay, well, that's easy enough, right? So we're on about song 2.5, and all of a sudden I'm up at the ceiling looking down at us. And I'm like, what the heck? This has never happened to me before at that time. I was about 32 years old, I guess. And I was just like, whoa, what is going on here?
So you weren't a kid, you were a 30-year-old.
Yeah,
so you know that,
exactly.
okay, this is real.
Exactly,
this is,
right? I was like, what is going on here? So anyway, so I'm looking down, and then all of a sudden, I go back into my body, but I went into a place they call your soul light, where it's nothing but white, yellow light. I haven't been back there since, thank God, because I would have never wanted to come back. It was such a beautiful place, right? It's just nothing but pure love and peace and stuff in there. Like words can't describe it, right? And then all of a sudden, my grandmother, who I was very close to, she was on my mother's side. She had passed away about 6 years prior to, so she came to me in that space. Now, I didn't see her, but I felt her. I felt her presence and stuff. Now, she ended up taking me, this is going to sound wild, but she took me astral planing around Earth. Now, that was just mind-blowing for me, right? Yeah. And at that time, I was like, afterwards, I was thinking, man, am I going crazy? Am I imagining things? I didn't know what was going on. And then after speaking to other, people that are, Reiki masters, all sorts of stuff, they started to explain to me, no, you're actually having a spiritual awakening right now. And because I had no idea what was going on, right? It was the first time I really understood that stuff. Because as I was a kid, I guess I was astral planing all the time. At my grandparents' place, I'd be flying around the backyard and stuff like that as I was, having an afternoon nap or whatever. Yeah. And I didn't know. And I always, I had imaginary friends. So I thought everybody had that. So, you know. But then when you go through your 20s and your 30s, or sorry, 20s and teens, you kind of, well, I kind of got away from that. I didn't know, you know, like it was like you're more into girls and everything
Yeah, yeah.
else, you know, whatever,
Like a young
right?
man, yeah.
So, anyways, so that whenever that happened at the age of 32, it opened up my eyes, and I realized that, you know, there's a lot more going on around us than what we see.
Absolutely.
So that took me on another journey. So then, you know, I started to blend in and wanted to learn more about the energetic bodies and meditation and all these things and what those would do, you know, to people and helping them on their journey, right?
Mm.
Then I also got into posturology in 2015 out of Montreal, and learning how the central nervous system, the brain, works with, you know, the entire body. So let's say you have different messengers, such as the eyes, such as the skin. So if you have a major surgery where they cut you open, well, not only are you affecting the fascia of that body, but you're also affecting the meridian lines too. And you're always sending a stress response back to the brain, where the brain doesn't want to use that area because it doesn't feel safe, right?
Yeah.
And so you're learning about the skin, the feet too, because obviously the feet have a huge play on your posture as well.
Absolutely.
So it's sending messages back to the brain as to where your body is in space and time. So are the eyes, and so is the inner ear vestibular balance system,
Mhm.
right? So we learned about all these different things in posturology, which was really cool. And then after I started getting into like more like functional neurology with New Era, my buddy Nick Desjardins has started up this amazing website, and he has different practitioners that have contributed different courses to that website as well. It's kind of like an online university, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I learned, you know, a ton through this website, through Nick himself, the founder.
Yeah.
And yeah, so just started blending everything together, and it's been amazing, you know, learning about also the meridian systems and how, you know, they affect the entire body as well, and then also the chakras, right? It's kind of integral in what I do now,
Hmm.
you know.
No, it's good to know, because people don't really know, they don't really see the association between everything, right? And you're
Yeah.
really bringing out the fact that everything is connected.
Yeah.
You know, to your spirituality, to your body, your posture, your emotions.
Yeah.
Everything is connected, and I want you to elaborate on that a little bit, and especially holistic health. Like, everybody sees that and like, okay, what does that mean? What is your interpretation of
Yeah, so
holistic health?
I'll give you the best way to do it is just to give you an example of
Yeah.
a client, right? So one of my clients, she came in, this was last year, and at the beginning of the year, and she had lower back pain. And she explained to me that she had this lower back pain for, you know, 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
And it's been chronic, right? And
Yeah.
she's seen, you know, all kinds of great therapists, osteopaths, massage therapists, acupuncture, all that sort of thing. And nothing really, like, it would help temporarily, but nothing got rid of it. And so I said, well, obviously they're not looking at something, they're missing something there, right? Now for her, I didn't actually get into all the spiritual or the energetic bodies, but what I did find that really helped her tremendously was her gut health, right? So with a lot of the testing that I do, I'll use, and we'll go over this after, but I use chromotherapy glasses, which is basically glasses that are colored, and I find the glasses that will either weaken you or strengthen you. And then what I do is I'll use these little vials. They're homeopathic vials that are charged with certain frequencies, right?
Mhm.
Let's say for parasites, heavy metals, candida, dysbiosis, which is too much bad gut bacteria. And whenever I'm doing the testing on the body in my clinic, I use all four limbs because it's a much more accurate that way. I learned that from Dr. Peter Jayet, who is a chiropractor. That he's a functional neurology doctor and a functional medicine doctor and a chiropractic doctor. He's one of the professors at what's it called, Palmer College down in Texas,
Okay.
and it's like the top chiropractic school in the world, right? And so he was the one that said, like, whenever you're doing testing like that where you need a very, very accurate,
Mhm.
he said use all four limbs. And it's true. Like, since I started doing that, I started doing this testing back in 2010, and I've had clients go and get blood work and also live blood cell analysis, and my results are the identical to theirs. So I know it works, right? And I've had great success with clients. So to go back to this one female, what happened was, you know, we went through all that testing, and after we put her on a nutritional plan for 8 weeks, very, very specific, you know, really more like paleo style of eating.
Okay.
And then we also gave her very specific supplements to address the findings that we had as well. And after the 8 weeks, then I go back and I retest everything. And, typically everybody's going to be cleared of everything if they follow my guidance 100%, right? And that's what happened with her. So all of a sudden, boom, her back pain went away. And even today, I saw her just, maybe about a month ago because she had a downhill mountain bike accident. So that was for a completely different thing. But her lower back, I asked her, how's your lower back? She goes, Steve, it's still amazing.
Wow.
So, you know what I mean? Even though I saw that she was still posturally misaligned, okay, but the inflammation from the gut wasn't shutting down her abdominal wall, because that's what happens is the intestines, when they're fully inflamed, the lymphatic fluid is not going to move very well. It's going to get all congested in here. And then that leaves a lot of toxins there, right? And the toxins can't clear out. Your lymphatic system is what clears all those toxins out, the dead cells, all the old microbes that are there and stuff. It also helps to bring, good white blood cells to the area when it's trying to fight infections and stuff like that too, right? So you can't have that clogged up because it'll just continue to be inflamed in this area. And as soon as that happens, boom, all your deep abdominal wall, the TVA, transverse abdominis, rectus abdominis, the oblique system, they're all going to shut down, and then you don't have any core strength. So then, other muscles have to compensate, right? So that's what happened. So she didn't have any lower back pain, and I was super excited. So just to show, because you can't just go after the musculoskeletal system if you have other issues going on. And that's one thing that I'm trying to explain and educate clients on. That's why I'm really happy that we're doing this podcast. Absolutely. Because a lot of clients come in and they think, oh, okay, well, I got this lower back pain. I've had it for 20 years. Well, if I go to see, a therapist, they should have it fixed within 3 to 6 sessions. Well, no, not unless you're addressing all the things that are contributing to that pain, right?
Yep.
And then if you want to go even further, well, then you get into the emotional system too, right? And a lot of it starts between the ages of 0, so after 3 months of being in the womb, to the age of 7, right? Those little, those young child years where we're downloading everything automatically. So we have these inner child wounds that haven't been addressed, and they'll come out later on in life, and the body will keep screaming with pain issues, symptoms, until you address those things.
Can you give me an example of that? Because I know you take it very personal as well. Whatever. Kids nowadays, okay, maybe it's more easier for them and stuff like that, but it's really how you shape your psychology will really define you later on in life, and even on a physical point of view, right? Someone who suffers a lot from trauma at a certain age could develop chronic pain when older. Do you have like an example? I don't want you to name patients.
No.
Do you have like an example of that?
Yeah. So just first, let's just go over kind of like the, what happens. So let's say if you have a mother,
yes,
or even we'll say two human beings that formed a child, right? Yeah. And there's a lot of tension and stress between them because let's say they're very young, and so it's creating all these stress hormones in the female's body, right? Well, then she's going to be releasing these stress hormones through her bloodstream. That's going to go to the child as well, right? And so now that child, this is Dr. Bruce Lipstein that talks about this in the Biology of Belief, and he basically states that those stress hormones are going to change the way the brain actually develops as well. So that child now is going to be developed more for survival, for a world of conflict and fighting, war, stuff like that. So you're going to have the frontal lobe, the prefrontal cortex and stuff, isn't going to develop as well as the other areas that are designed more for fight or flight. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so what happens is between the ages of 0, so 3 months in the womb, until 2 years of age, that child's in the state of delta brainwave activity. And so for an adult, that's whenever an adult is in a deeper sleep, right? And so it's a state of hypnosis, right? So what happens is that child is downloading all that information naturally without even having to study it.
Or to live it in a certain sense.
Yeah, no, exactly.
They're
right?
experiencing it on a a psychological level,
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So, everything they see, everything they feel, it goes right into their system and into their nervous system, into their brain. And then after they register that information as reality now, right?
Mhm.
And then from the age of 2 until 7, they go into theta brainwave activity, which is another state of hypnosis. And so that state is like for an adult is like just whenever you're in between worlds of just going to sleep or when you're just waking up. So you're in between there, and that's like the perfect state for meditation,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And so again, that child between 2 to 7, so they're just observing, the adults around them or the other kids around them, and then they're downloading all that information, right? And so let's say you have a lot of people have the inner child wound of, self-worth, right? They don't feel like they're worthy for whatever reason. So it could have been as simple as, you know, um, let's say the parents gave a little bit more attention to their child that is has a disability, let's say autism,
Sure.
compared to themselves, who was more like a, let's say, healthy
Yeah.
child
Yeah, yeah.
brain wise, right? And so they might feel like neglected and stuff like that, so they don't feel like they're worthy, they don't feel like they deserve, right? So that'll carry through now, right, for the rest of their lives until they break that subconscious programming, right?
Mm.
And so, like, what you would have to do is basically, get some sort of therapy and find out exactly what are those inner child wounds, and then deal with it from there. So, let's say a pattern that somebody like that could have, and and this is one of my clients. I just popped in my mind right now. Anyways, big guy, big bodybuilder dude, very successful in life, great looking guy, all that sort of stuff, super awesome father and
Mhm.
stuff, right? But all his life he's had to prove, or basically he thought he had to prove himself to his parents and stuff, and even to his older brothers,
Mhm.
right? So he's always, overdoing things, and
So that transferred to
trying.
business. It transferred to his health,
Exactly,
like working out
exactly.
and stuff like that.
But now it's catching up to him.
Huh.
That's why he came to me,
Yeah.
right? He's just like, okay, now I'm starting to see some triggers with, with his girlfriend, and at the same time, he was starting to break down in his body, right? He's not feeling well anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's not able to lift the way he used to lift. His energy levels are lower. He's not sleeping very well, right? So all these things is because, you know, those inner child wounds are speaking to him and saying, okay, like, you need to deal with this stuff now, right?
So if he doesn't address it, it will just continue.
It'll just get worse and worse. The body will come up with more symptoms. He'll end up with chronic pain. He might end up like having to take a leave of absence from work, like very bad stuff
Wow.
like that, right?
Mhm.
And I've seen it too, like where with clients where they've had sexual trauma as a child.
Yeah.
Oh my God, like there's a lot going on in that body. They've been in chronic pain for years and years and years, and until they deal with that inner child, right? They're never going to get healed. They're never going to get better.
How do you deal with that inner child trauma?
Yeah, so I use that because my intuition is very good. I've developed that over the years too, and I've learned different techniques through another one of my mentors, Jerry Sargent.
Mhm.
He has what's called Star Magic Energy Healing. So he taught us a technique where we go in basically. So I basically get into. I get into theta state very easily, put it that way.
Yes.
And so I get into that.
He does, by the way. It's nuts.
So I get into that state, and then after, what I do is I'll get the client in. I don't know. I create like a space for them mentally, and I basically get them to. Pretend that they're standing in a room just like this, let's say, in the middle, and around them they have their little mini thems, right? So from the age of 0 all the way to 7. And then if there's other age groups that need to come in, well, then they'll come in as well. And after, I'll just basically say, okay, who wants to go back home to their heart center, which is home, right? And so whoever's going to want to come forward because they don't have any sort of, perceived trauma, let's say, well, then they'll step forward. And after I get the client to, go and embrace them, give them a big hug, tell them how much they love them, and then bring them back home into their heart, right? So we do that with the ones that step forward automatically. But then there's going to be other ones that say, like the 1-year-old might be sitting there, upset, mad, sad, whatever. So then I get the client to go and start to talk to them, and I already know what's going on. I feel it, I see it, but I get the client to connect in with them too, and we go through this process. And sometimes it can take like an hour and a half. It just depends, right? And then after the objective is to bring them all back home again. Right. And it's very powerful stuff. Very powerful stuff.
But like I know like let's be like real too. Like yes, I love meditation and I get to a let's say a state of mind for me that it, enables me to maybe understand or see the same things that you're seeing. But for some people, they just think it's completely woo woo,
Yeah.
and they don't really, and they can't really connect. They can't see the same. What's your opinion on those people, and like, can they reach that level as well, or is it something that you're born with?
Well, that's the thing. It's like, yeah, certain people are going to be born with, with higher abilities, let's
Yeah.
say, but we all have the ability to do it. It's a matter of learning how to connect with your pineal gland, right? And so one of the first things is just, basically start learning how to focus in on one thing. Being in the present moment
Yeah.
is super huge,
Absolutely.
because that's really what meditation is about, And so what,
Be aware.
yeah, exactly. And what a lot of the like the different traditions will do is just focus on your breath. You can focus on the breath coming in and out from the lips and stuff, right? Or focus on a different region of the body. One thing I really like to get people to connect with is, especially for trauma victims, is doing mindfulness meditation, where you're basically breathing into your toes and then release. Breathe into your feet and then release. And what you're doing is you're doing a body scan, and you're seeing if there's tension in those areas as you're breathing into them. And if there is, or if there's like some pain in, let's say, your left big toe, well, then you can go in and you can ask your body, okay, why is there pain there? And don't wait for the answer. The answer will eventually come. It might come right away. It might take a day or two. That's okay. But just go in and start asking these questions, right? And doing the body scan, breathing into those different areas. So you're starting to connect with those body parts again. Because whenever we get trauma, the brain wants to disconnect with the body, period. Okay. And so we need to reconnect everything again. And also, teach it love in those areas that do have pain. Like, don't be upset with that area. Send it love, right? Because that's what's going to create the healing. Whenever we don't accept a part of ourselves, so let's say, I don't know, say you got a little bit too much belly fat and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So you might say, I don't like my abs and stuff like that. Well, if you keep saying that, well, yeah, it's never going to heal. It's never going to get better, right? You just keep on sending negative energy to that area, right? You need to send positive energy to that area and accept yourself the way it is, like the way you are. And then after, you'll see eventually things will start to turn around, right?
Yeah. We can correlate that with plants too. I don't remember the exact study, but they did this for plants as well.
Yeah.
Like they would water plants, like two different plants the same way. One of them, they would give them compliments, and
Yeah.
the other one insults, right?
Yeah.
The one that you gave insults died earlier.
Yeah.
Was having a hard time, taking in nutrients and stuff like that, right? So
Yeah.
we're all the same thing. Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
we're not plants, but we're pretty flipping close, man.
Yeah, and
Like,
also classical music. They've done studies with that too, with grapevines and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And they're showing the ones that they've actually played classical music for actually grew and thrived much better, right?
Yeah.
They're healthier, bigger grape and stuff like that too. And it's the same thing for us. We're going to have different frequencies that are going to affect us negatively. And this is all like, there's a ton of research on this stuff.
Yeah.
And I can refer people to books on this sort of thing. But also Dr. Joe Dispenza, chiropractor that basically got in a big car accident and couldn't walk. He actually healed himself through meditation, got himself walking again. And he does all kinds of amazing work on this, and courses and stuff, or workshops where you can go down live.
His guided meditations are amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I got into meditation, was with him. In the beginning, his voice is, let's say, it's a little creepy.
Yeah.
Because he's just whispering shit into your ear, right? But if you get past that, man, they're very heavy. Like, you cannot, like, I need a guided meditation.
Yeah.
I can't just do it. I'm not there yet. I can't just get in that state without any vibration or any additional, sound or whatever, But hey, it's like anything. You learn with practice, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's something that should be a part of everyone's routine. I've been lacking on meditation recently, and it kind of shows, like, to a certain extent, because like I feel less free spiritually in a certain sense,
Yeah.
And I need to get back on that flow. And for people who don't know, why I know Steve is because I've had a crazy accident as well. So I had a crazy accident when I was around 18, and I also have a scoliosis. But due to the accident, my scoliosis got, let's say, mangled. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
To a certain extent. So that's why I'm with Steve, and the stuff that he makes me do, man, it's amazing. And that's why I brought him on, because I want him to spread the word. I don't want to be the only person or be the only group of people that are using this technology, because this has to be out there, man. Like,
Yeah.
people need to be more aware of the power of this. And like Star Magic too, like, I don't know if you want to explain it just briefly, but man, he did a seance on me, and I was shot into another world, man.
Yeah, yeah,
It was
yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
some people are gonna be okay, like, yeah, you're nuts, whatever. But like, honestly, man, if you had lucid dreams before,
Yeah.
if you've meditated and you've seen other, let's say, like, scenes or scenarios in your head, you're
Even
basically
even
doing
colors.
the same thing. Even colors.
Yeah, yeah.
You're basically doing the same thing, but it's crazy. I was, just listening to his voice, and I went into another dimension, kind of.
Yeah.
It was me, but probably from another reality or a past life or something like that. And the emotions that I felt was, I don't want to go too in deep because it's pretty fucking personal. in a
Yeah,
certain
yeah,
sense,
yeah,
but
yeah, of course.
man, it was just very powerful,
Yeah, yeah,
and,
yeah,
and
yeah.
as soon as I woke up, like, I was in like a teary state. It was just,
Yeah.
it feels so real, and I want everybody to feel that same connection. But we're probably going to go into it too, but like, what are some frequency tools or things that you do to help people get more aligned with not only their nervous system, but their emotions and everything like that?
Yeah. Well, like, to go back to the part that you said, that you have our time with like the silent meditation,
Yeah.
right? So, one thing I tell people to do is, like, not everybody's built for meditation where you're just laying there or sitting there, you
Yeah.
got your different mood that
Not everybody's a monk,
No, exactly, right? So especially I find for Westerners where they have a hard time quieting their mind, right? So I say, well, why don't you go for a walk in the forest, right? Just, and they've shown studies now with the energy coming from trees. The trees actually work as a network
Wow.
within the ground, within the root systems and stuff. So if one tree is feeling ill, the other ones are going to start pumping out their own fluids to help out that other tree.
Yeah, but
It's
so do
it's a
mushrooms,
community.
so do other organisms.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's an ecosystem. It all works together, right?
Hmm.
And so I say, go walk in the forest. You're going to get what's called forest bathing. So you're getting all that energy brought to you. And at the same time, just focus on your walking. The natives and stuff used to call that, walking meditation. So you're very much in the moment. You're trying not to think of other things. Even if those other thoughts come in, just acknowledge it, let it go, and just continue focusing on your footsteps,
Mhm.
and then just focusing on where you're walking and looking on the leaves and stuff like that, right? So doing that alone is incredible, right?
Yeah.
And it's very simple. You know what I mean?
I think there's like a stigma behind meditation, because meditation could be in
Many things.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Even going for a motorcycle ride, like I love to motorcycle, and that is a meditation for me as well. Because why? Because I got to be right there in that present state. The awareness has to be all over the place, right?
Yeah.
And that's a form of meditation.
Mm.
People don't realize that. You
Yeah.
know?
And you mentioned the natives too. Like, they were very in tune with their spiritual side, especially like with their shamanic
Yeah.
upbringing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you think, like, because the way society shift to a more like capitalist state, do you think that has something to do with the loss of spirituality of the
Yeah, well,
of
it's
the
a
people?
loss of connection with nature. That's really what it is, right? And so, if you look at, I don't want to, shoot down an industry or not, but I mean, if you look at, pharmaceuticals, they do have some great things.
Nah,
There's no
we'll shoot that
question.
down. Who cares?
Yeah, no,
Yeah, they make enough money.
yeah. But they do have some things that I think, especially, sometimes it's very required.
Yeah.
Certain medications and stuff like that, and then other times it's like it's not required. And the system that we have here in Canada compared to, let's say, systems over in Europe where medical doctors are trained differently, like for instance with posturology. Okay, that was a orthopedic surgeon out of France. Dr. Bidicot, that created posturology. And so, because what happened was he kept on seeing all these people coming in with all these orthopedic injuries that required surgeries and whatnot. And he said, well, why is this? Why is this happening? And so he started doing research and taking other people's research, with the brain, the eyes, the feet, the skin, all that sort of stuff. And then started to create a course called posturology. Well, that is taught to medical doctors in Italy and in France, but it's not taught over here, you
Mm.
know? And so it's like, why is this,
Well,
you
it's like
know?
Chinese medicine as well, right?
Well, this is it. You know, you got the Chinese medicine, you got Ayurvedic medicine and stuff like that, right? And it's like, why are these things not being integrated? I mean, they've been around for thousands of
Yeah.
years, right? And the Western system, that's why. That's another reason why I wanted to come on this podcast. It's like it compartmentalizes the whole body. It separates the entire body, which is so false. It's not even funny, right? And so, you know, you have an issue with ears, nose, and throat. Well, you go see that specialist. So, okay, your heart, okay, go see the heart specialist, right? But it's like it's all connected, right? And I'm going to show some people some things after how it is all connected, right? And so, you know, the blending of everything and bringing it all back together with, you know, the spiritual, connecting into nature, you know, connecting into your own body and seeing what's going on and emotional wise is going to lead to your perspectives on life, which will give you your certain frequency that you're going to be vibrating at during that time. And that is always going to fluctuate a bit depending on what's going on. I mean, you could have, you know, let's say grief happens because you had, you know, one of your parents just passed away. Well, you're going to be in a lower vibrational zone, obviously, at that point. But let's just say, you know, you just had you know, your first child. Well, if, you know, all of a sudden the vibration's super high, you're super happy, you know, you're going to be on a new level,
Yep.
right? So it's like your vibration is going to, you know, it's going to change up and down. Your aura is going to shrink or it's going to expand depending on what's going on with your thought process at that time too. If you're very stressed, right, and it's a constant stress that's every day, every day, every day. Let's say you're with your spouse and it's been tension after tension
Yeah.
after tension, right, and there's a lot of financial burdens and all that sort of thing. Well, then everything's going to contract, right, because that's taking life away from you.
Mm.
Right. But then, you know, you get, you know, a promotion, money's coming in better. You guys aren't fighting anymore. There's more love between the couple. You're communicating, all that sort of stuff. Well, now everything expands, you know, so that's life giving, you know? So it's everything relies on energy because that's what we are. We're nothing but
Yeah.
energy, right?
So it's like everybody's like a building in a certain sense, right? Like
Yeah.
let's say your roof is fucked. Let's say the whole building's fucked, okay? But you just change the roof.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it looks good on the outside, but
Yeah.
deep down it's still messed up.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
you really have to make sure to take care of every single pillar. For you, like, what is the main pillars for somebody to be more in line? Would it be like spirituality, nutrition, physical health? Like, what do
It's
you?
a combination.
Yeah.
It really has to be a combination. Now, you don't have to go crazy with it, but I mean, at least have an 80-20 rule for, let's say, your food intake.
Yeah.
You know, and then basically that means like, you know, Monday to Friday, you're trying to eat as well as possible, right? And whatever that is for that person, because I consider food for everybody is going to change, right?
Yeah.
You know, so it's like I call it your UFP, unique food print. That's kind of a little trademark I came up with, right? and it's true because you're going to have different parts of your lives where sometimes you're going to need extra, you know, vegetables and fruit and stuff like that, or else other times you might just need more meat and fish, you know what I mean? More heavier types foods.
Can you give me an example for that? Like, when would you require to have like more heavier foods and stuff like that? Or
Well, let's say if you're going to, you know, let's say you're going to be more in a colder climate and you're doing
Okay.
an excursion up in the North Pole area type
Yeah.
thing, right? Well, in that area, I mean, are you going to do better on, you know, salads, you know, with say with white like chicken breasts, like white meat, or are you going to do better with, you know, like bison and you know,
course.
like beef, stuff like that, heavier meats with you know, good heavy cheese and stuff like that, like a Gruyere Swiss cheese, right? So meats and fats to get you through those colder climates, especially if you're doing like a big excursion, a huge endurance type of activity, right? Well, you're going to need that heavier fuel in order for you to sustain all the cold and everything else. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, but if you're going down to, let's say, Bahamas, where it's super hot by the equator and stuff, well, then, you know, if you're eating all that heavy food, you're going to feel crap. You know what I mean? You're going to want lighter foods down there. You want, you know, the pineapples, all that sort of stuff, right? Nice fruit and stuff.
It's crazy how we're like like this seems so like high tech or complicated in a certain sense, but it's literally common sense.
It's common sense, yeah.
You know?
But that's the problem is that there's so many people that are unaware unaware of what's going on in their body. They just go, they eat food, and they don't pay attention as to how that food is making them feel,
Yeah.
right? And so nutrition is going to be one part, and spirituality is like, well, just start with the basics. Okay, well, treat everybody with love and respect. That's it. That's all.
Yeah.
Right? You know, do unto others as you want done to yourself.
Yeah.
Like, just start with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just the karma vibe, you know.
Yeah.
Just you give out good energy, and if you don't want to be treated in a shitty way, well, be a nice person. You
Well,
know?
that's it, exactly. Yeah. And then after, get some sort of movement in on at least 3-4 times a week, right? Get some sort of movement in. So going for a walk is amazing. And it's a very simple thing to do. The brain loves it too,
Yeah.
because whenever you're moving forward or backward, you know, you're also registering with your inner ear vestibular balance system as well. And it does changes, biochemical changes throughout the body as well. So even walking is a simple exercise. Now, if you can, to help prevent like stuff like osteoporosis and all that sort of thing, and also muscle degradation throughout the years, especially after the age of 40, you know, you should definitely get into some sort of resistance training. Even if it's only twice a week, that's fine, you know, for 30 minutes at a time.
Just like basic hypertrophy.
Yeah.
Kettlebell work.
Yeah, even like little circuits, stuff like that.
Should you
That's
add in
fine.
like flexibility work too, like functionality? Okay.
Well, especially as we get older,
Yeah.
we tend to get more tense and stuff like that, right? So definitely, you know, throwing in some things like yoga, tai chi, qigong, even just, you know, they have different, animal kind of movement patterns and stuff you can
Mm-hmm.
do, a lot of stuff on the ground, right? So just getting into something that you enjoy doing as well, but making it part of your lifestyle
Routine.
now. That's super important.
Yeah, that's what's hard too. Like I'm gonna talk about my dad. My dad
for sure,
too.
for
Like
sure.
he's a client of Steve's as well. And he's a type of guy, like old school guy, beautiful guy. But he was never into fitness during his life, right? I played football for a majority of my life, so I kind of had that athletic background. My father didn't really partake in sports in a certain sense.
Yeah.
And now he's starting to get older and stuff like that. You know, like the belly's starting to catch up, and it's hard to start that routine. You know,
Yeah.
like for me, like, you know, training, it was just okay. Well, let's get back into it again, and then I just pick it back up, and everything is fine. For someone who's starting up or literally just beginning, what do you recommend them to do? Of course, walking. That's you know, but like, what would a day-to-day, like, what would your recommendation be for like a day-to-day to start up?
Yeah. So basically, start off your day with a 8-ounce glass of warm lemon water with a little pinch of Celtic sea salt or Redmond's real salt or Himalayan pink
Get
salt.
your electrolytes in.
Yeah. And what that does is it stimulates the bile now from the liver to in order to help break down your foods easier and stimulate more stomach acid production and stuff like that too.
Mm-hmm.
So start off like that. Wait about 20 minutes or so before you actually have your food, or let's say you're having your tea or your coffee after that. But you know, do the lemon water first, right? And then if you notice that you get bloated after eating, you know, pizza or bread or pastas that have gluten, right? Well, then, you know, maybe work on getting rid of the gluten and substituting with gluten-free.
Yeah.
Right. So not cutting out the carbs, but just replacing them with a gluten-free option, right? That's an amazing start right there for the food part. And then, you know, getting out for a walk or even just getting into a little stretching routine, right? So a little stretching routine, just getting the body loosened up and stuff, especially if you're sitting at a desk all day.
Oh yeah.
You know, so just going through, and that can be like 15, 20 minutes. It doesn't have to be very long, right? And then after that, as far as the spiritual, even just focusing on your breath for 10 breaths. Start that, like, your day like that in the morning too.
In the morning?
In the morning.
You'd rather in the morning,
Yeah,
right?
because you start your day off.
Yeah.
Right? So now you're working on focus and concentration just on your breath, right? And you're doing deep breathing down into the base of your lower abdomen.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're coming out and exhale fully, right? And focus on feeling the breath coming in and then going out. Coming in, going out, nice and slow. So you're doing, and to work with the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest or digest calming system. Well, then you want to do, like, let's say a 2-second in, and then after that, hold it for 1 to 2 seconds, and then release at least double the amount of time it took you to inhale. So if it took you 2 seconds to inhale, well, you should be doing 4 seconds to exhale, and even better, like, do an 8-second exhale, and then hold that as you exhale for 2 seconds as well, where you have no breath in you.
Yeah.
So you're just doing very, very slow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you do 10 breaths like that every morning too.
Yeah. No, people don't realize like but they think like they'll do like 2, 3, and they'll be like, okay, this is stupid, right? Do 50 of them.
Yeah.
See how you're gonna feel, what you're
That's
gonna
it.
see, the vibration.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like
Oh, yeah,
I think breath work is a good way to start for sure. But you did mention in the morning. A lot of people say like because you're still in and out of that dream-like state,
Yeah.
that it's a better way to get more in tuned, I guess, with your mental. So, in your opinion, is it better when you wake up or when you go to bed?
Oh, I think it's better whenever you're kind of setting your mind for the day.
Yeah. Okay.
And then also set your intention and be grateful. So just take, I don't know, 5 to 10 things in the morning that you're grateful for, and really like feel it from here, and not just thinking about it, right? Because the universe speaks in frequency, right? It speaks in sound, right? And so basically, whenever you really send out that feeling, like, thank you, for my own body. Thank you for my eyesight. I mean, we take these things for granted, right?
Yeah.
It's like, thank God I have 2 legs. I can walk on my own 2 legs. Like,
That's
you know what I
100%
mean?
true, man.
It's so
Like
true.
you spill your fucking coffee in the morning, and some people are like, "Oh my god, this is the worst thing that ever happened." Are you sure?
Yeah, exactly.
You're able to walk, you're able to go to work, you're able to
That's it.
speak, you're able to see, hear.
That's it.
People neglect these things, man. And just just like you said, take a breather in the morning, be grateful, name out the things. Like, yeah, okay, you can be grateful, but when you really take time to to think about the certain aspects that you're grateful for,
Yeah.
you're like, shit, man. Like, maybe life isn't too bad.
No, exactly. Well, that's the whole point of it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that we have running water and toilet in our house and stuff, we don't have to go somewhere else, and you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, that's like, we live in a very,
Don't have to hunt our
very good
food,
place. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it could have. For some people, it could be pretty fucking rough.
Exactly.
If we get sent back to the Stone Age, man, where a lot of people are going to struggle.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Big time.
Absolutely.
Big time.
But it's crazy how the world, like you said, everything is connected. The universe, plants, animals, well, us as well, emotion, spirituality, everything. It's like a circle, the circle of life. Everything
That's
is
it.
connected. That brings me to what you brought it today.
Yeah.
So do you want to explain it a little bit?
Yeah. So basically, I think what we should do first is get into, so basically, if we get into some of the applied kinesiology, so we're doing some muscle testing and stuff, like
Cool.
kinesiology testing is
Yep.
called. And so we're basically working with that. So it's not a test of strength for a muscle. We're actually using, let's say, your front delt to test, to be able to communicate with your nervous system, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also we can connect into what's called the field of consciousness, which runs through all things. Okay, it's like in Chinese, they'll call it the chi energy,
Mhm.
right? Or prana, with the Hindis and stuff
Yep.
like that too, right? So it's that energy that flows through everything, and that's basically what keeps us alive, right?
Mm.
And so we can tap into that field of consciousness where we all have that ability to get in there. And so whenever we have intuitives and psychics and all sorts of stuff, that's all they're doing. They are tapping into that field of consciousness and gathering information and then bringing it back. Same thing as like if you look at artists, right? So you look at somebody who's playing the drums or guitar or singing, right? And they'll like have their eyes closed. They're right into the
That
moment.
flow state.
That flow state,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Well, that flow state is because they're connected in now. And a lot of times they're just, let's say, even if they're like, writing a new song per se, or they're creating a new song with the drum beat or the guitar, right? They're just letting that come in and it's just playing, right? And they're getting that from elsewhere. It's not coming from their own brain. It's coming from elsewhere, right? And so, getting into that state is very, very, very powerful. So with the kinesiology testing, we can go in, we can ask anything we want within that field too, by just doing muscle testing with somebody. We can find out if there's a problem within your body. So let's say if you have parasites in your body. Well, with my little vials that I have from my homeopathic kit, I can find that sort of stuff out too, especially when you're using certain chromotherapy glasses. So let's say if yellow is the glasses that's going to, strengthen you, well, then we can do testing with those and then we can find out, if there's any issues there, right? Or if you have too many heavy metals in the body, right? So we can do a lot of different things. And then also I have a new technology that I'm just basically getting involved with. It's going to be coming to Canada, soon. And these little chips here, I actually have insoles with them in my shoe, and they, I won't say what sort of frequencies are in there, but there's frequencies in there that activate a lot of stuff in the body. It's like insane.
Wow.
We even had acupuncturists who measure the pulse of the body. You have different pulses,
Yep.
and so they measure the pulse before putting those insoles on, and then after, and there's a complete difference. So frequencies have a huge impact on us, right? So frequencies of light, sound, right? That's why there's a lot of sound healing and stuff like that. I even brought a laser in today too, a little cold laser level 3, which is great for scars, healing from surgery, stuff like that too. And so that's light, that's frequency, right? It's just energy, right? And color is too. So to give you an example as well of color and how we can use it just with our own minds. So during COVID, I had a client come in who had like a lymphatic type of cancer. And so I was working with her, and basically, she had different meridians that were shut down. And then what I was told was that, use color to inhale to kind of recharge that meridian line, and then exhale the color that basically overcharged that meridian line. So a meridian line, let's say in Chinese medicine, right? Let's say you have the kidney meridian. So up here is going to be kidney 27, down just underneath the metatarsal of the second toe. Okay, that's where kidney 1 point is, and so it comes up, and it comes up through the inside, the medial channel here, and it comes up like this, right up into between the clavicle and the manubrium.
Yeah, so people who don't know, like they have those kind of socks too. You can get on they're like pressure points, right?
Yeah.
It shows you everything. It outlines everything. Like this can be for the kidney, spleen, whatever. Everything is connected with the meridian lines, right?
Yeah. So basically, let's say if that meridian line got overcharged. Now, kidney meridian also ties in a lot with fear. The kidneys tie in with fear, okay? And that's in the solar plexus chakra here, right? And so what happens is, because that's like our area of power, right? And so let's say you had something happen where now, okay, you just lost your job. And it's like, oh crap, like I got mortgage, I got the kids to feed, I got all this sort of stuff going on. So there's, boom, fear kicks in right away, right? Which is a natural response, obviously, right? Yeah. So then, all of a sudden that energy of the fear, it overcharges the kidney meridian and boom, shuts it down. It's the same thing as a circuit breaker in your house, right? You plug in too many things into one circuit, boom, the breaker is going to blow. It's the exact same thing, Whew. So then what you do is, and I picked this up intuitively. I just basically asked the body, okay, well, what colors do you want in and stuff, right? And so sometimes it'll be a single color where they have to inhale into it. And then other times it might be like a rope of colors. So it might be like 3 or 4 colors all together. And then after that, so they visualize it. And if they can't visualize it, well, then they just kind of state it out loud. And I'm visualizing it for them as they're doing it. And after, they're going to exhale the colors that overcharge that meridian. And boom, I've seen it where the meridians just turn right back on again. And that's what happened with that lady, that cancer lady. And so I've been using that as well, and also in areas of pain. So let's say somebody's got a lot of pain in their right shoulder or whatever, then I can use color as well. Again, just intuitively being guided by the body, because I pick up on that stuff, right? So color is huge, like frequency is huge, right? So we're gonna go over some things with the stuff in here, and I also have bioenergy patches, which I can pull out here, that are also infused with frequencies. Okay. So
when you say infused with frequencies, do you mean like what do you mean by that?
Yeah, so basically, like this one here is it's called kidney support.
Okay.
So it helps in restoring and cleansing the kidneys. So the patches just basically, I'll just pull it out like this here. Patches just look like this. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So basically little round circles, and so they're on a 3M surgical tape. So it's antibacterial, all sort of stuff, right? And then what they have a thin layer over top of that is infused. So basically they take these patches, and it's like almost like from what the owner of the company told me, it's kind of like a little microwave machine, and they'll stick like all the kidney support ones in there, and they'll infuse them all at the same time. There'll be like 2,000 at a time that they're infusing with this one or several frequencies that create the kidney support. It's super cool stuff, right? And so now whenever we take the patch off and we place it on the body, and so ideally you want to place it over one of the kidneys, right? Then you're going to have a response. So the kidney is actually going to work at its most optimal function. Okay, and I got like liver, gallbladder, all that sort of stuff, right? It really is powerful stuff. So, at times where I really need to use this with clients, let's say if we're doing a functional nutrition protocol because we found that they have, dysbiosis, major gut bacteria imbalances, they have candida, heavy metals, they're suffering from autoimmune issues, all that sort of stuff. Well, now I want to boost certain organs, and I also want to use different organs to help with lymphatic flow, all that sort of stuff as well, and help that person, get better quicker, because I also combine it with food and also with supplements as well. And especially I love like the herbal botanicals and all sort of stuff. They work, they're very powerful, right? Or even essential oils too. They're very, very powerful.
So this is like a supplementation kind of thing, right?
Yeah,
so you have to make sure to like for people who say like, oh, okay, they just tried this and then nothing works, and like, okay,
no,
well,
you can't. Because the thing is that people are still eating garbage, right?
Yeah.
So they're not eating.
I concur.
Or else they're not eating according to their UFP, the unique footprint, right? So whatever food is going to be best for them. And so another thing that I do is I get people to bring in food, little samples of food in like Tupperware and stuff. So let's say if they're suspect of different foods that could be causing like a little allergic mini intolerances within the body. Well, I say, here, we'll bring in those foods, or bring in everything that you typically eat, like just little samples of it. And then so what we do is we get them laying on the table. We put the chromotherapy glasses on them that weaken them. And then so this way, whenever we put the food like in their mouth, or if we just have it down at their stomach area, if they all of a sudden go strong, well, what happened is because that food is good for them.
Yeah.
If they go weak still, it's because that food is no good for them. Very powerful.
And does it have to do like people like are roasted, like everybody always like needs to find like their cult, like vegans and keto and carnivore and stuff like that. So you're saying that it doesn't really matter. It matters on what you react to, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So there's no one diet that is
no. I don't believe in that. I never will, because I've seen it. I've been doing this for 22 years now, and I've seen so many different things, right? It's really about, what food is best for you at that moment in time, right? And that might be for 5 years, you're going to do great with beef. And then all of a sudden, one day, it's like it doesn't work for you anymore, right? So then you got to switch it up, right? So, but it depends on what's going on with you and your biochemistry and what's going on in your life, stress levels, all this sort of stuff, right?
It's all about the frequency, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no,
exactly.
And it's cool because like people say, oh, frequency, come on, but like even the military weaponized it,
Exactly.
Like I'm not gonna go like too woo-woo, but this is actually true. It's called direct energy weapons, and what they do is they use a certain frequency, let's say for crowd control or something, and then they can point it. I think it was used in World War II, anyway, or Korean War or something like that.
Yeah.
And then once you put it towards the crowd and you put it at a certain frequency, it just stops the crowd where they're at. It can induce sickness. It can induce like a mental state. It can put voices in your head. Frequency is very powerful.
Oh yeah.
So I think you should use it as a weapon to help yourself out. In a certain sense, because it does work. Yeah. For people, like I'm just trying to make people be aware that it's not woo.
No. Well, even a very simple one with the military. Whenever they're marching, okay, and they're all march at the exact same pace, right? So left, right. I was in Army cadets when I was young, right? Yeah. So what happens is if you're coming onto a bridge, they have to stagger their steps and stuff. They can't just keep walking at the same frequency, because it's actually known that they'll actually damage the bridge. The bridge will collapse.
Really?
Yeah. So you know what I mean? So it's like it can be that simple, right? And this is known.
Yeah.
It's scientifically known. Like the military knows this stuff.
Exactly. For a long time.
For a long time.
So we need to step up our game.
Exactly.
A little bit,
the thing is that it's not out in the mainstream. People aren't talking about it everywhere, and that's why it's not really
because there's no money to be made from it. That's Well, there is, but
Yeah.
not to an extent of, let's prescribe them this pill and they'll come back for another pill to fix the side effects from the initial pill. And it's just
Exactly. Yeah.
it's just a circle of let's make money. But that's just big pharma. That's business. That's life, right?
Yeah.
That's what it is nowadays. Like, we live in a capitalist state. Maybe if we weren't in a capitalist state, big pharma wouldn't be. Maybe there would be a pill to cure cancer.
Yeah. Exactly.
Or something
yeah.
that you don't have to have a patient to keep on having a paycheck. You know what I mean?
That's it,
So
yeah.
that's the difference between the both, because this helps, but once you're cured or once your injury is no longer, there's no more money to be made from it.
No,
Right?
exactly.
That's why it's a hard transition, and of course it's not induced, it's not backed up by the mainstream media,
Yeah.
and it will never be, in my opinion. I hope so.
Yeah.
I pray that it will change, but for now, I don't see it happening.
No,
and especially
exactly.
with COVID too, like, coming up, like. It goes to show that there's not a one-trick pony. Take this and you'll feel good. We saw it. We went through it all. Everybody reacts differently to everything, right? And if you have that space where you can heal yourself without needing those chemicals, lab-made chemicals.
Yeah.
It will help you out in a certain sense, right? And chronic pain it's hard, man. It's hard.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, a lot of people go through, like, chronic pain it takes away from a lot, and people who are, in that intense state of chronic pain,
Yeah.
your vibration, your frequency will evidently go down, right? Like,
Yeah.
at a certain point. That's why you gotta,
Oh yeah.
fix all those pillars in your life, man.
Well, okay, so the first testing we get into is with my little quantum alignment technique devices, right?
Sure.
And so basically, let's say with those ones, those were designed by a chiropractor up in Collingwood area, Blue Mountain area, just
Yep.
north of Toronto, and also a Russian quantum physicist. And this guy actually won a Nobel Prize for some of his work. The guy is like genius level, right? And so basically what they did is they infused these little devices. I'll just pull them out here.
Let's do it, man.
Yeah. Here we go. So these little devices here, okay, quantum alignment technique. And so they basically, there's 3 of them. And there's a copper metal strip inside. And they have frequencies of the cerebellum, which is a part of the brain that is basically kind of like a coordinator between the rest of the body, and it's going to take the information that's spun up to it and spin it to different areas of the brain. Then it's going to take that information back down the cerebellum, and then the cerebellum spits it back out, right? So it has a frequency of the cerebellum and also the motor cortex. The motor cortex is a part of the brain that creates movement in the body, and it basically runs just around in front of the ear, and it comes across like this. All right. And so it has that, and then it has other frequencies that help open up the nerve pathways for quicker, better communication. And so back in the 80s, it was a podiatrist that found that anytime the talus, which is one of the top bones in the ankle, it's not actually attached to any ligaments or anything. It's the one bone that's not. And so it's kind of free floating in there, and it stays in position just because the rest of the bones that are holding it there. But he found that talus bone was always out if there was an injury on that side of the body. And so then there was a group of chiropractors that are, they go into advanced training called applied kinesiology. And so this one chiropractor, Dr. Walter, I believe is his last name. Anyways, I have his book, Big Blue Book. And so basically what he did is he created what's called injury recall technique. Because what will happen is, let's say you get an ankle sprain, and it was a good sufficient one, right? We got to think back to like the caveman days, right? If you had a big ankle sprain like that, you're all bruised and, it wasn't good at all. Well, you can't run. You can't really walk on that thing. Well, you're going to be somebody's lunch, right? So that's a huge trauma for the brain. A huge trauma, right? Because we were still, with the reptilian brain, the
Fight and
primal
flight,
brain, all that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah, very simple human beings.
Yeah, exactly, right? So then now it's going to, basically the brain, because that's been an area of trauma, it's going to shut down, and it doesn't want to connect into that body part because it doesn't feel safe, right? It doesn't want to harm it more, all these different things, right? So you need to erase that now from the brain, erase that injury, and then reconnect those body parts. So the bones first, the joints, and then after that, the muscles, and then after the tendons and the ligaments, right? You have to reconnect it all. And then once you do, and you clear it all out first, it's kind of like you're doing a reset on your computer. Well, then that all the muscles are going to start to function better again. And I've seen it, many times in the clinic where clients' muscles all turn on again because I'm doing the muscle testing. They're all weak. All of a sudden, boom, they all turn back on. It's like they all went back online. It's super fascinating, right?
Man, that's cool.
And then after that, if that ankle injury was 20 years ago and it still is causing issues in their body, the muscles still aren't firing properly, right? And I see that often.
Yeah,
okay.
Of course.
Well, then, there's going to be a lot of fascial adaptations that have happened there and probably bones that have moved, especially in the navicular on the inside of the medial foot, the arch. So then I got to do a bunch of work all around there and on the calf and everything to get everything, more mobile and stuff. Then after I give them exercises to do, and it wouldn't just be for there, it's going to have different compensations that would have happened throughout the whole body, right?
Yeah.
But, we definitely have to start there since that was our original injury, and it makes a massive, massive impact afterwards. Because I've seen so many clients who said, I've seen so many therapists, and it's like this thing keeps coming back, or even from that ankle injury, I'm getting a lower back pain or a shoulder. Like one of my clients, well, I won't mention his name, but he, very famous guy around here that had won 2 world titles for kickboxing. Well, he came to me for treatment and stuff like that prior to his world titles. Because he had some injury, like, a shoulder, neck, and all sort of stuff. Well, it was coming from his ankle. He was shutting off his glute, shutting off his lat. And then so if you don't have the lat to pull down on the humerus and the AC joint, well, then after you're going to have the front delt, the pectoral muscles, pec minor underneath, that are all going to be pulling in like this because they're overcompensating to try to stabilize that shoulder girdle now, right?
Yeah.
And so we have to get, that posterior chain, the glutes, the lats, all that sort of stuff firing as well in order to pull all that down again. And then, make sure your rear delt and, all the scapular retractors that move the arm back are also working well, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what we did. We focused on all sort of stuff that, those muscles were not working anymore, and stretch out all the tight ones that were overcompensating. And then he was able to win the titles,
That's crazy.
And so, but it was coming from an ankle injury that he thought was already healed.
Yeah. No, it's true.
Because he wasn't even having pain down there.
Yeah. Same thing with me. Like with my lower back, it was my lower back was in pain, but my glute was never firing.
Yeah.
Never firing. I have big legs, I have a big back, but my glute wasn't firing properly, and then that would induce the back pain as well, right? It's like a chain link.
Yeah, exactly.
If one of the links in your chain is rusted or broken or something, you can't expect the whole machine to work.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really cool, man. So let's get into the testing.
Yeah.
Hell
so,
yeah, man.
So let's.
I'm the guinea pig, so let's what we're doing.
That's it, exactly.
Tell me if the sound is our producers here. We're good. Okay, cool. Sounds good.
All right. So first, what we're going to do is I'm just going to leave those there for a second. So let's just have you stand out in front here. So I'm just going to basically use this shoulder here for some muscle testing. So you're just going to bring your arm up and just keep the elbow locked like that. We're going to use the front depth to test. Okay. So I'm just going to test and see if there's any vertebrae that could be an issue at the moment. Okay. So we'll start off right up here, and now just push up. Actually, just push up first, just to see. Yeah, so your shoulder's working. Okay, and now push up. Okay, that's fine. Here, good. Here, good. Here, good. Here, good. Here, good. Here, good. Here. Oh, here. Yeah, there's something going on here. Okay. So we got this is about T2. Okay. Now let's go down a little further here. That's fine. Okay, here. Good, here, okay, here, okay, here. Okay, so if we go back up here and push again. Yeah, right there. Okay, so now I'm going to put the little device on there, and this will, so whenever you put this device on it, it definitely tells us for sure. Ready? And push. Yeah, it went really weak that time.
Damn.
Right? You felt it, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so now have a seat.
Okay.
Because now, in order to reset that area, we need to put them over your talotibial joints, okay? So just bring your feet out, and the other one too. We're just going to stick them there. Okay, and now what I do is I go back over to the T2. I'm just going to clear that area. So I'm clearing the joint first. Okay, and now I take those away. All right, stand up again, and we'll just retest. Okay, I'm going to go right back there. Okay, ready and push. now you're strong. You feel the difference?
That's crazy.
Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to test to see if the muscles around that area have been affected. Maybe just on one side they have, and the other side's fine. Okay, so now just lift your hat for a second,
Okay.
and I'm going to get you to hold with your other
Nice
hand.
forehead.
This one just right over here now.
This?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like that. Okay, ready and push. And yeah, so now if I go on this side and push, okay, here push. So we're getting rhomboid, like minor, big time. Let's see on this side and push. There's a little bit there and here. Yeah, both sides have been affected. Okay, so now sit down again.
Yep.
So now we're going to start by clearing just the right side.
Okay.
And then keep that up at your
My forehead?
your third eye area.
Okay.
All right. Just going to move the wire here, and just sit up for me for a second.
Yep.
Oh, and then I'm going to stick that back there. There we go. Okay. So now I'm just going to clear out on this right side because we only have it on the right side
Yep.
on the talar tibial joint. Okay. So we clear this out. All right, and now we'll do the other side. Just move your leg out a bit. All right, there we go. And clear that out. All right. Okay, let's have you stand up again.
Do I keep it on my forehead? Yeah.
Yeah, keep it on your forehead because now we're testing muscles, right?
Okay.
Okay, and then arm up and push again. Okay, now it's strong. right?
Absolutely.
Now, if we wanted to see if this area, if the muscles are actually connected into the motor cortex, then what I could do is we can have this one held right here.
Okay.
Okay, 1 second. Let's see if we can just stick it in your shirt. So usually I do this on a table laying down, right?
Okay. And we will bring a table for next episode.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, ready and push. Oh, it's not connected in. Go again. You see how you're going weak?
Yep.
So that means that you're not. So when I put it on this meridian line right here called
Mhm.
consumption vessel, it tells me if your brain has disconnected from that region. So now we're going to reconnect. Okay. So what I would do, and we can just keep your hat on for this.
Okay.
So now I'm just going to go over the motor cortex area. Right. And I'm just connecting in all those muscles again. And we're really making a strong connection with the motor cortex. Let's get everything around the region. Okay. And now we'll stick that back in the shirt here.
The
long as
Spotify
it-
listeners are going to be so happy about this.
All right, ready and push. There we go again. Okay, good. And then if we go here. Okay, good. Here.
Jeez.
Good. Here. Good. Here. Yeah, so everything's reconnected now, okay? So now we'll do the tendons and the ligaments, okay?
Yep.
So now this time you're going to take that little device.
Yep.
And you're going to place it right over the protuberance right back here at the back of your head, right
Okay.
at the occiput area.
So here. Okay.
Right there, yeah, that's it. And then, so now I'm going to go here. So let me put the other one down. I don't want that frequency on me. It'll affect things. And keep your head more upright.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. Actually, use your other hand
Other hand. Okay.
because we need to do the testing with
Yeah,
this
no
one.
worries.
Okay, ready and push. Okay, and here, push. Good, here, push. Yeah, so the tendons and ligaments are fine, okay? So that just gives you an idea, right? We can do the same with any body part, any joint in the body. So that's what the CAT device is.
That's so cool, man.
Right?
Yep.
All
What's
right.
the second test?
All
Let's
right,
get
so
it. I'm
now-
up now.
Let's see here if we pull out, the glasses next, actually.
Okay, perfect. No, I think it's a cool thing, and for the Spotify users, I'm very sorry, okay, but this episode is not for you, all right? Maybe next episode. Watch on YouTube, all right?
So take off your glasses. Now, if we were to look in the bag here, so we have 10 different colors. Just take a guess as to which one would actually weaken you.
Weaken me?
Or, sorry, strengthen you.
Strengthen me. I would say a lighter color, so either red or yellow.
Okay, let's start with the rose.
Cool. Ooh, these are sick.
Okay, so
We're
now
gonna get
bring
a
your arm up
jazz
again.
there. Yeah.
Bring her up.
Yeah.
Okay, ready and push. Okay, so you're definitely going strong. Now let's try a different color just to see if you go weak. So take those off. We'll try yellow now.
Elton John,
Okay,
baby.
and push.
Oh,
And push. Yeah, you're going very weak on this one, okay?
damn. Okay.
You felt the difference, though,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah, okay. So let's try blue just for fun.
That's crazy, man.
All right.
If I turn into the Hulk, buddy, that'd be fucking nuts. Whoa.
Okay, ready and push. Oh, you're going weak on this one. You go again. Okay, so the blue is 2, but yellow seemed a little weaker to me anyway.
Yeah.
Let's try green just to see. Okay, ready and push. Oh, you're strong again. And
Yeah.
push again. Okay, that
Green's
feels
my
pretty
color,
good.
man.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Okay, so that feels pretty good. Let's compare it with the rose just to see if one's stronger than the other. And push. No, that's strong. And push. Okay, let's try it the green again. And I just want to see if the green is the strongest one.
Okay.
And push. Yeah, that's super strong.
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
so now keep those on.
Bruce Banner.
Yeah, that's it exactly. All right, I'm gonna pull one out. I won't tell you what it is. I'll tell
400
you-
MIGs a test.
I'll tell you after, okay? All right. So hold on to this with your other hand. Okay. And then here you go. And ready and push. And push. Okay. Now take it away. Did you feel yourself go weak?
Yeah.
Okay, ready and push. Do you feel yourself going strong?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on to it again.
The fuck is that?
And push again.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. So this one here is liver congestion. We gotta do some cleaning up, buddy.
Okay. Guess so. Gotta lay off the beers, man. Jeez Louise.
All right, let's test this one next.
Liver congestion, huh?
All right, let's try this one. So again, don't look at it.
Yeah.
Okay. And push. Okay, so you're strong. Push again. Okay, you're strong again. Okay, so you're fine on that one.
Okay.
And that was gluten intolerance. So you're actually fine. Interesting, eh? So again,
I must be pregnant. That's why I'm bloated all the time.
so again, when I'm doing this in the clinic, I'm going to do this one where you're laying on a table and we're testing all 4 limbs, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because all 4 limbs are really required to get 100% accuracy, right?
Yeah.
But it gives you an idea. So let's find one here, and I'm gonna combine it with one of my bioenergy patches. Okay. So if we go, actually, you know what? I'm gonna do this one first. All right. So hold on to that. Don't look at it again.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. And push. Okay. So you're going strong. So you're fine on that one. But let's just say, actually, here, let's take that one away.
Mhm.
And let's go with this one. Actually, you know what? Let's see if we go here. You don't have any blockers on your phone or
No,
anything?
no,
Okay,
no.
so just hold on to your phone.
Yep.
Okay, once again, and push. You going weak.
Yep.
Okay, so the EMFs coming off the phone, electromagnetic fields coming off the phone, are interrupting your frequency, right? Interrupting your bioenergy field, and so it's causing you to go weak,
Really?
right? So that's why on my phone I have a little chip on there that blocks that, so it doesn't affect my energy.
Is that the
field.
same thing they talk about with the earbuds?
Yeah, like the 5G stuff and all that stuff too,
Yeah.
right? So, so we know the
We're
phone
getting
is
into 5G.
the phone is bugging your system. So now, if I have you hold, actually, I'm going to get this one here. I got them. I got too many things I brought with me today.
You came prepared, man.
That's it.
Usually my guests are not that prepared. This is pretty fucking awesome.
Okay, so now hold on to this here.
Yep.
You can just hold on that hand and have your arm out.
Like this?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is, I'll tell you in a second.
Yep,
Okay,
okay.
ready and push. Okay, and push. Do you feel the
Yeah,
difference?
just rock solid. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is shungite. So this basically is as an antioxidant, right? That protects you against EMFs. All right. So by wearing the shungite, you can be in an office with strong Wi-Fi and stuff. It's going to help protect your nervous system from being disrupted and
Yeah, yeah.
shutting down and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So being dysfunctional. So shungite. So I do sell these as well at the clinic and stuff, right?
That's so cool.
Now let's put the cell phone down,
Yep.
and now we're going to try with, let's see here, if I get the, where is that now? Right here, okay. We're going to try this now. So hold on to that, don't look at it again. Okay, ready, and push. And push again,
Yeah.
and push again. Okay, so you're going weak, okay?
Weak as
so
fuck.
now if I use a patch to counteract that, which I have, it's gonna be one of these right here, okay? So we don't even have to put it on you. We just have to have you hold it.
Okay.
Hold it with the other thing, okay?
With this.
Yep.
Okay.
And then ready and push. Do you feel the difference?
Rock solid.
Okay, so what the vial was the frequency of heavy metals in the body. And everybody has heavy metals
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now
yeah.
because all the toxins everywhere.
Yeah.
So we just put a patch on there that helps to chelate the heavy metals from the body. So it's frequencies. That's all it was. So it starts to act on the body right away. Right. Then after we combine it with binders like fulvic minerals, shilajit, all that sort of stuff, bentonite clay, that'll all bind chlorella to all those heavy metals and start pulling them out as part of the whole nutritional detox program. It's very cool.
Wow, that's
very
cool.
Powerful
So
stuff.
based on this assessment,
Yeah.
So what would your recommendations be for my overall health?
Yeah, so basically just right now, if you have heavy metals, there's more likely you're going to have dysbiosis,
Okay.
right? You're going to have too much bad gut bacteria, right? And so, and you have liver congestion and stuff.
Yeah.
So I would put you on the 8-week protocol that I do with my clients, more paleo style of nutrition. And then at the same time, with the proper supplements to counteract what we found with the toxins. Right.
Sick. Well, talk to you after.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so now let's take those
Yeah.
off.
Take these off.
Okay, so now I'm going to show you. Let's say, see here. We'll go back to the cell phone, okay?
Okay.
So grab your phone again. So this is a new one that I just got. All right, so let's just do the test again.
Okay.
So everybody can see, and then push.
Yeah,
So,
jeez.
even without the glasses, right?
crazy.
So you're going
Yeah.
weak, okay?
Yeah.
Again, super weak, okay? So now, if you hold on to this, just put it right over top of the phone. Okay, ready and push. Do you feel the difference? And again,
Absolutely. That's so weird, man.
so this is a 5G blocker.
Okay.
So you can put it onto your laptop, your iPad, put on your phone, and it's going to help protect you from the EMS coming from the phone
Wow.
or your electronics.
So, like, let's say EMF and stuff. Like, what happens if you're exposed to EMFs for like a long duration of time?
I'll give you an idea. So one of my clients, super fit guy, in early 30s, works for Health Canada, all sort of stuff. And this guy here also is on track and field team, very close to being on the Olympic team, okay, for 200-meter hurdles. This guy never drinks. He eats very well, very consistently, okay? And so what happened with him is that he temporarily moved into his parents' basement as he was just saving up some money for 6 to 8 months to buy a condo for his wife that was coming over from another country. And so in that time frame, the Wi-Fi router was down in the bedroom he was sleeping in. And so, basically he came in one time and he said, I'm not feeling so well. Oh my God, I'm getting bloating and stuff like that, more gas and stuff, right? So I said, well, did you change anything? Is there more stress, whatever? He said, no, everything's the same, right? So I said, well, let's go through the testing. So we went through the testing and he found that he had dysbiosis. So too much bad gut bacteria, and it was coming from EMS. So I said, okay. I said, where you moved and stuff, like, where's the Wi-Fi router and all that sort of stuff, right? He said, actually, it's in the bedroom. I said, oh man. I said, take that
Change
out of
that
the
shit,
bedroom, put it way on the other side of the basement if you can, whatever. So that's what he did. He took it out, and after we retested him, basically within 3 weeks later, and his gut bacteria went back to normal, and he didn't change his food or anything. Right, so it was the Wi-Fi router, all those energies that were interrupting his regular flow of his nervous system and everything else, right? So that's how much of an impact it can have.
So people were saying,
Yeah.
So people were saying that like 5G affects your, it can even affect your physical well-being in a certain sense, right?
Oh,
Like,
it does.
It does.
affects
yeah.
your mental, everything, because
Wow.
if you're affecting your gut bacteria, right? Well, you're going to be more likely to have things like depression and anxiety, big time. There's
Yep.
a lot of people that have anxiety.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
so you're going to have all these different effects in the body, these different symptoms. So it does have a big impact on you. Right?
So you're not brainwashed by 5G, but it does affect your brain waves in a
yes,
certain sense.
exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly. How you interpret the world, everything, right?
Wow.
Super powerful. So-
Man, okay, like we talked about a lot, and we've talked for a while.
There's another one. There's
Yeah,
another
sure.
one here I want to actually
Okay.
introduce you to. So this is a new technology that I actually have insoles for, that I'm actually just basically testing and stuff at the moment. But these ones here, they're like they're these little devices here that have frequencies embedded in them as well. And so these little frequencies now, they have a huge impact on the body in a very positive way, right? And I won't say what frequencies are in here yet until, you know, I'm kind of authorized to, but I was allowed to just kind of, you know, show you what's coming to Canada, you know? So very, very excited because I feel energy a lot, right? And so I felt whenever I put my insoles on, I felt the energy like, you know, through my body, and I feel way better with these things in. It's crazy, the difference, right? And one of my friends who is a very powerful energy healer, she also had tried these things, and she couldn't believe, even the next day after just having them on for 5 minutes, the next day even, she was feeling way more powerful from her hands, the energy coming out. It was crazy.
So where do you place this? Like
so
on your
basically,
shirt, or?
no. So you would place them in the insole. They're going to come into an insole.
Okay, you're placing them in the insole. Okay,
so,
okay.
I mean, when you're looking at an application for, especially for athletics, insane. Every athlete's going to want these things because of the fact that, you know, what you're doing is you're lining up your posture, and as all the joints are aligned better, well, then you're going to have much more performance out of that joint, because the brain will only allow a joint to function at its 100% maximum if it's in a good alignment, right? And it's otherwise it's going to be kind of like a governor on an engine where it limits you, let's say 100 kilometers an hour, right? It's going to limit you to whatever your posture is set up for.
Allowing it to.
Yeah, it's whatever you're set up for. Well, then, you know, because it is, you know, the brain knows if it's going to get injured or not, right? Especially if it's like a, you know, high intensity running, you know,
football,
run fast. Yeah, football, soccer, hockey.
Yeah.
You know, there's impact, stuff like that. Well, then you're going to be more likelihood to get a major injury if your posture is terrible than if your posture was really good. Now, let's say you get an impact, you know, hitting the boards, and if you got really good alignment, all your joints are structurally sound, well, you're going to be able to handle that blow now without any repercussion.
Yeah.
Right. Compared to somebody, let's say if they got, you know, really bad forward head carriage like this, you know, their head's like about 3 inches too far forward. What happens is on the neck extensors at the back here, every inch that you go forward, you're placing another 10 pounds of weight onto those extensors. Right. So imagine, like, you know, the average head is what, around 10 pounds.
Yeah.
And same for women. Okay. Heads are very similar. And so what will happen is women are even more impacted because of the fact that they have smaller neck muscles and they have smaller shoulders and everything else. And so they're going to have more nerve impingement and everything too that's happening. Right. And so as their head starts to migrate more and more forward, well, then they're going to have a lot more. That's why they get a lot more with also migraines and tension headaches and stuff like that, because the muscles acting up so much. And it also will clench a lot too, right? So bruxism, clenching the teeth,
the jaw while you sleep.
Yeah, so TMJ issues, stuff like that too. And it's because everything is so tense, the muscles develop trigger points, which refer into other areas of the body, and it causes pain. And it also causes irritation within the nervous system too, right? And so by using, you know, proper exercise selection, you know, stretching, mobility routines, and then, you know, things like this that help set up your posture better and quicker, well, you're gonna be able to actually have better athletic performance on the field, the ice, or whatever it is that you're playing in, right? So to test these now, there's 2 different ones, and sometimes people just need one of the 2, or sometimes they need both, okay? And what they've been finding so far, and it's again, it's not 100%, but what they've been finding so far is that people as we age need the 2 different kinds together. So it would be called like the ultra type thing, right? So I'm just going to separate them and just get them placed together. Place that there. All right. So now let's have you stand up again.
Okay.
All right. So let's just say, so I'm going to go down in front here.
Okay.
Should have enough cord. All right. So now just stand with your feet just normal. This jump, just take about 4 or 5 jumps.
4 or 5 jumps?
Yeah. There we go. Good. So keep your feet like that, okay? Now I just want to look straight ahead. Okay, and just totally relax your arms. Don't control your arms. Let me do the work for you. Okay. So I'm just gonna bring your arms out in front. All right. So now if you look down,
Mhm.
you see how your right hand is lower.
Yep.
Okay, so it's about 1.5 inches or so. All right. So now let's have you. So basically, you're just going to have your shoulders back, nice and tall, and you're just going to bring your fingers together with your thumbs touching, and then bring your arms right out in front of you like that. Okay, and then we're just going to come this way, and then if I bring your hand up,
Yeah, the
right one again is longer,
Yeah.
right? Okay. All right, so that's good there. So now, just to see how that goes, okay, well, actually, we can check also the hips too, okay? So,
Okay. Well, my hips are fucked, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, no, so stay in that position. No, so stay like that.
Okay.
In that position you're just in. So now I'm just going to go on to the iliac crest, which is basically the top of the hip bone here on both sides. Right there and right there. So now, if I'm looking right now, it looks like your right side, or your left side, sorry, is going to be a little bit higher. It's kind of hard to see with the shirt there.
Yeah.
Actually, sorry, your right side's a little bit higher. Yeah, your right side's a little bit higher right now. And it's about maybe 1 centimeter or so, okay? If you put your hands on top of mine, no, on top of my hands.
Okay, like here?
Yeah, and do you feel the difference there? Do you see
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I see it on a daily basis there. I know that my right side is...
it's a little bit higher. Right
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
Okay, so now we'll see whenever we put these first chips underneath, if it changes anything.
Okay.
Okay, so you're going to stay in that position the whole time?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm just going to, so you don't have to move your feet. I'm just going to
'Kay.
stick it right there, and the other one right there. All right, so now just relax your arms again. Just let go of everything. Okay, do you see the...
Yeah, I feel more relaxed on the right side.
You see how it evened out more now? Okay, that's good. And now, same thing, fingers and thumbs together, and look straight ahead. Just bring your arms up in front of you, and then like this. And if we go right here again,
Less.
okay, so it's less. So there's still a little bit of a difference, but it's less, okay? So now, let's see here. If I go back to the iliac crest. Okay. Okay, now place your hands on mine.
Yeah.
Over top of my hands.
Right here?
And they're definitely more even. It could probably improve a little bit. But how does it feel for you?
It feels way better. It feels like less tense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, so that's good there. So now let's try just the other ones first.
Okay.
Before we try them both together, okay?
Okay.
And we'll see if there's a change. All right, so let's go here. And there's a whole bunch of other tests I can do with people, but because we're limited in space, we'll just keep it simple for now.
Absolutely.
All right, so now relax everything again. And we're going to give it, actually, these ones might take a little bit longer. Let them settle in, because you still have the brain's still registering the other frequencies. So let's give it a few seconds.
Okay,
It's very cool technology.
Absolutely. So we'll do this one. We'll wrap it up after, and then the next time we'll do the full.
For sure.
Can't wait.
Okay. So just relax your arms.
Yep.
Yeah, don't let me do the work for you. It's hard, eh?
I know.
Okay. And then here. Yeah. So it's not any better. The other ones were better. So now let's just try with both of them in.
Okay. Again, sorry, Spotify listeners.
So we're going to wait 12 seconds here.
Okay.
Because when we have the two of them, it takes 12 seconds.
Yeah.
And then we'll retest.
Little 12 seconds. Again, Spotify users, man, go to YouTube at least for this week. Like, Jesus Christ.
Nice. All right. So now relax everything again. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's more aligned than the other one was too. Okay. So now thumbs and fingers together, and then come right out in front of you, like that.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
Same
That's
thing. Yeah.
way better too.
Absolutely.
Okay. And then let's check the hips. Okay.
Man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, well, I guess I'm
That's
getting the
level now.
insoles. Yeah, absolutely.
That's level now. So you would need the two of them.
Yeah.
So the ultra package,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah. So once it does come,
Guys, you can feel it. Like this is cool, man.
it's crazy. But
Yeah.
I mean, you'll actually see too, like, you know, we can get into movement patterns
Yeah.
and flexibility, like, you know, forward bends
Yeah,
and
yeah.
rotation.
Yeah.
And you see the difference. You feel it too.
I
It's
can't
crazy.
wait, man. This
It's
is
really
fucking
cool.
awesome.
It is cool.
Steve, man, look, we've mentioned a lot, but we're gonna have another episode. We have to.
Oh, yeah,
we,
for
we
sure,
have
for
to
sure.
spread the word. We're gonna have more like we're probably gonna bring somebody in to actually do the testing on a table.
Yeah.
I think it's like the first podcast ever that we're gonna do live, like table work.
Yeah.
But man, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you taking the time of the day, and we've been talking about this for a while now.
Yeah.
So it feels good to actually like put it out there, and I
Exactly.
think it's gonna be pretty cool, man. The goal of it is to spread the word and to make people aware of what exists in this world.
Yeah.
You know, so I think we're gonna hit it out of the ballpark, man. So thank you for your time. And how can people reach you? Like, how do you got
Yeah.
anything to plug or?
Yeah, well,
now's the
basically,
time.
you know, the best way is contact you either by my cell, which you'll have later, or else email. But also, right now my website is down because I'm in the process of recreating everything.
Cool.
So you can go to my Instagram page, just Steve Moratto, and find me on there. You'll get a good feel for what I'm doing with everything as well.
Yep.
That's the best way at the moment. But I will have a new site being launched there in the fall.
Awesome. And if you want to go give him a follow, you can go give him a follow at You Perform Better.
Yeah.
And if you're in Gatineau and you need some massage therapist work, go see him, please. He's at the Gym Max in Gatineau upstairs. A beautiful place. So, hey, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks a lot, John.
Guys, it's been an honor again to give you great podcasts, and I'll see you again soon. So tell a friend to tell a friend, and have a great fucking day. Peace.
I'm the 1 + 9 multiply, you get a dime. You know I ain't got your time on 10. Got the cookies in the grind, sweet sticky product. You know that shit a 10 out of 10. I'm the 1 + 9 multiply, you get a dime. You know I ain't got your time on 10. Got the cookies in the grind, sweet sticky product. You know that shit a 10 out of 10.